Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me, Derek KDR Review, and it's finally time for Marvel's First Family to take their first steps. We got our first teaser for the Fantastic Four, and if I'm going to be honest with you, a day ago before this trailer came out, they actually put out like a whole live stream where they're like, "Oh, you can't wait till 4 a.m., 4 p.m. Eastern Standard," and I tuned in for the live stream. I'm like, you know what? Let me see if it is going to be so I can actually do the video earlier than intended. And once that clock hit zero, it kept resetting, and time actually went backward, which I don't even know that was intentional. I don't even know they were trying to do that standard. Oh, it's going to be at 4, but it's going to come out at 7. And once it did, they did like a whole interview with the cast and crew, and I was like, okay, so I'm waiting for the footage. If I'm being honest, it was too early. I zoned out, fell asleep, and once I got back up, I'm like, okay, the trailer's out. Gotta go back to work. Seeing as though it could have came out Sunday during the Super Bowl or next week before Brave New World, I can just say we haven't seen anything except the D23 and Comic Con footage where we're seeing everything in 4:3 aspect ratio. We're seeing bits and pieces of what could be concept for the Fantastic Four. And I know it's too early to say, but looking at the time from this thing, it's like a minute and a half teaser. I just want to say, knowing that now this is going to be taking place somewhere outside of the MCU, where if you don't know what the Fantastic Four in this film, they're taking place in the MCU, but then again, they're on a different Earth, like in a whole. I wouldn't say if I'm gonna make this comparison, like when Supergirl was on a different Earth in the CW shows, and then at some point they had to cross over and combine all the Earths into one. That's gonna be the case leading into Doomsday. So enough talk. Let's get in to the Fantastic Four.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7, on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming?
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Oh,
Okay.
the CGI kind of looks a bit old school with
Okay,
the
is
thing.
this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
Yeah, this is cousin Richie translated as thing.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the
The
world
origin.
right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Johnny, flame on.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi!
And I am right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Galactus. We're gonna see a bits of him in the trailer. Oh no.
As a family.
Presented in Fantastic Vision. Like I imagined, this trailer or teaser is going to be setting the tone and vibe for things to come. Also, I want to add this because I did kind of notice it when I first watched it. This doesn't have that weird MCU CGI filter where it feels like, okay, everything has to be CGI, where they're using the whole blue screen or green screen or the vibe or the whatever that new hologram thingy is called. Everything in the CGI here looks normal. It doesn't even look like they actually tampered with it as much. Like when you see Johnny jump over the cliff and you see him turn into a whole Human Torch, it doesn't look weird. It doesn't look like regular fire. It looks like, oh, he just enhanced with fire like we would normally see. We didn't see Pedro Pascal do anything as real. Like we didn't see him stretch or do anything like that. But something about him, I feel like he's not going to be doing a lot until maybe the final or second trailer, because we're going to be seeing more of the characters and the fact that we're going to see them more operate as a family this time around. Like, I know when they cast some of these guys, I said, okay, I could see it, but some of it has to be a little bit convincing to me because I feel like, yeah, when they had John Krasinski in the Multiverse of Madness, I thought, okay, that's a good casting because that's what people wanted. But then it was just for that one-time thing, and when they chose Pedro Pascal, I was like, like, I got Mando, I got Joel from The Last of Us, and the fact that I'm like, okay, so now he's in the MCU, but then I got to remember he was also in DC as Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. Life is good, but it can be better. My hope is the fact that he can actually portray Reed not just like a regular guy, but also smart intellect, the biggest brain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as he's supposed to be. and the world they're setting in, because I feel like, yeah, everybody feels like, oh, it's outside of the MCU, but it looks normal. But you got to remember, this alternate 1960s New York, everything is advanced. And also with the key concept card you saw in Comic Con, you saw that, oh, it looks like New York, but there's a couple new stations and buildings that is almost look like resemblance of the Jetsons. And here we kind of got our first look at Galactus, which that whole thing, it looks normal. I wonder if they're going to be doing that effect like they did with the Eternals with Erisham. Like if you look at that movie and you see the way they compared size and scale, I wonder if that's going to be the way they're going to be doing Galactus in this. We haven't seen a surfer, possibly Shalabal, but then again, you got to remember there are two Silver Surfers. Shalabal is going to be the one introduced in this one. Who knows if Norman Rad is still a slave to Galactus, but is just hiding out somewhere, but we don't know until where he is. For this trailer, I could say it's brief, but then again, it gives you a hint of, yeah, this is the strike four for the Fantastic Four, and the fact that it's like, okay, this is your fourth attempt of doing this. Hopefully, enough now that it's in the MCU with the right hands and the right people who know how to do their thing. Hopefully, we can get a good Fantastic Four movie, and the fact that it's like, yeah, we're seeing bits and pieces of the origin. We don't need to do a whole new origin story. Every comic book movie feels like they need to skip the origin, but at least tease it at some parts. But in the end, all I want is a good movie, and the fact that Marvel is resetting their timeline and actually doing, you know what, we're looking back at the drawing board. We're trying to fix a couple of new projects, and hopefully enough with our Marvel's First Family, they can actually do them justice this time. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. All my social media is down in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.